So I want to show something else, right? Propaganda.
Is this the next topic?
Yeah, this is the next topic. Okay. Propaganda. Propaganda is a bitch. Propaganda is a bitch. This is David Axelrod. You remember David Axelrod as the guy who was Obama's Obama whisperer. So Axelrod is now a paid hack on some show. It has a CNN logo on it. I don't know if it's CNN, but if it's so, that makes this that much more ridiculous. This video is one of the worst videos I've seen in lieu of propaganda, and Bernie Sanders torches the shit out of him. Now, the interesting part in this is Sanders has become so accustomed to knowing that these guys are propagandists that he brings his own information with him to shove that shit in their face. Take a look at this. David Axelrod is going to try to get some propaganda over to his audience. And look at Sanders as he torches the shit out of him.
24 candidates now, lots of different flavors, lots of competition. You now have taken place in kind of third or fourth in these polls. I don't know.
No, that's not accurate. That is not accurate. Okay.
By the way, if you want to say in some polls, in some states, that Sanders is not doing well, that you're in third, okay. I mean, I would imagine there's some states out there. But that's not really given a good description and an honest description, because in all reality, he's number two. And he's been number two since the beginning of this race. Yeah. There might have been a fluctuation, in sense of Warren gets a bump or whatever, and, polls and all that other stuff. But ultimately, he has remained in the number two spot from the time this thing has started. Now, even if you want to say he might have floated to 3 in some of the polls, 4th? Like, that's just outright propaganda, and it's not even good propaganda. So, but let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's kind
of third or fourth in these polls. I don't know.
No, that's not accurate. That is not accurate. Okay. Let's speak to it.
Okay.
In fact, I know, David, you would like to see it just happen.
It's coming back. Come on. Come on.
Tweeter messing up.
God.
To bring it with me.
Incredible that you would have this.
Just happened.
Yes.
This is showing that since.
Right. So he just said something that was comically, criminally untrue. And again, propaganda. This is CNN after all. MSNBC is the exact same way. And at this point, Bernie Sanders knows that when he goes on these networks, they are going to lie and try to make him look bad. And so because he knows that, and because at this point his campaign is taking the position of, I'm going to call out the media when they lie flagrantly, this is where we are.
No, that's not accurate. That is not accurate. Okay. Let's speak to it.
Okay.
In fact, I know, David, you would like to see it. Just happened to bring it with me.
Incredible that you would have this.
Just happened.
Yes.
This is showing that since the last debate, we have advanced more in the polling than any other candidate. So there are bad polls, there are good polls. But
yes. So,
eat it. Eat it. Suck on it, Axelrod. I mean, lied flagrantly. And by the way, just so we're clear, recent polls, just to get across how over the top, inaccurate that was. That was perverse. I mean, David Axelrod should be ashamed of himself. In fact, he looked shameful as he was doing it. Like
he was reading it like,
he was like, oh, you bought those. Why would you do that? Because I know you guys are fucking propagandists. And so I need to show you the shit. Eat it! Eat it! Eat it, Axelrod. Fucking love it. Right here. Look, this is national poll. Biden, 22. Sanders, 19. Warren, -3. This is The Economist.
Like number 2 slot.
This is The Economist. Warren has gone down 3. Sanders has gone up 3.
He's in the number 2 slot.
He's in the number 2 slot. And is a striking distance of Biden on this poll. Look at that. Here's another one. Colorado. Sanders, 26%. Biden, 25%. That looks like he's in the number 1 in that poll. Wow, that's astonishing. Let's see. I want you guys to be able to see it. Look at that. And here's the other one. The Economist YouGov, Biden 22, Sanders 19. He's up 3. And this one, Sanders 26%, Biden 25%. Yes, that means he's in the lead in Colorado. And one more, just to make a point. Axelrod
Wait, that's CNN?
is sitting on CNN. At least that has the logo behind it. Unless somebody changed the logo. While he is sitting on CNN saying Bernie Sanders is in the 3rd and 4th place, the poll that CNN released showed Bernie Sanders literally in number 2 spot. That's amazing. That's amazing. Propagandists. Propagandists. How does my ass taste, Axelrod?
Ooh.
How does my ass taste? That's what Bernie Sanders told him. He's like, how does my ass taste, Axelrod? That's what happened. No, yeah, that's what happened. Look at it. Let's see
Wait,
it.
who posted this? Can we read the...
Good morning to everyone, but Axelrod, hashtag Bernie 2020. David Axelrod, blah, 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 lies about slipping in the polls. Bernie Sanders, nah, bruh. Here are the receipts. Hand over the seats. We've been surging since the last debate. Eat crow axe.
Receipts.
I love that.
There are 24 candidates now, lots of different
And
flavors,
it's not
lots of
24
competition. You now have taken place in kind of 3rd or 4th in these polls. I don't know.
Why is the old stuff on that one? Babe, what you doing?
I'm not doing anything. This is your tweeter. Your Twitter account. I'm not a tweeter, so I don't know.
No, that's not accurate. That is not
Okay,
accurate.
so,
Let's
no.
be clear.
Okay.
In fact, I know, David, you would like to see it. Just happened to bring it with me.
Incredible that you would have this.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Because I knew
This
an
is
asshole
showing
propagandist
since the
like
last
you
debate.
was going to sit there as a paid hack from the DNC and try to smear me with nonsense. That's what I knew. And you know what the sad part is? He called this shit. That means Sanders was sitting somewhere and said, that motherfucker gonna try to clown me. He gonna try to clown me.
This poll shit.
So let me get my polls
Let me
straight.
get my receipts.
Let me get my receipts. There are my receipts. That's what Bernie Sanders. There are my receipts. He should have just got up after that, like bam, bam, and just walked away. That would have made it that much better. No other Democrat is getting my vote. I hate this because everywhere that he goes, be it MSNBC, be it CNN, be it Washington Post, all of these networks have it out for him. And it's shit like this that he has to deal with. Tulsi Gabbard, same thing. But he goes on there and Axelrod just lies.
He's like, you're polling number 3 or 4 spot. No, I'm not.
No, I'm not, dog.
No, I'm not.
He says, yeah, man, the 24
was a
people
lie.
on the stage, man, your polling numbers look pretty bad. Well, Axe, I knew you were going to come out with some stupid shit like that. So, look, here's my receipts, asshole. How you like tasting my ass? How you like it?
Somebody say you're very raw today.
I am. I'm feeling spicy.
It's rough.
I'm feeling spicy. I guess my point is this. The fact that you have to deal with this shit day in and day out. Every campaign stop you go, every time you go into the media, you got to deal with shit like this. Hack Democrats that are seeking to support candidates that they consider to be Democrats. They don't consider to be Bernie Sanders to be a Democrat. In fact of the matter is they're still pissed off at him that he had to temerity to run. And if we're being real honest, the policies that these guys push for. Axelrod's guy, Obama, that left 30 million people without health insurance, Bernie Sanders is going to actually do the job. I'm here to do the job that you can do. I had a surgery one time, and the doctor completely botched it. My stomach was messed up for years. And then the secondary doctor comes in and fixes it. Sanders is that second doctor. Hate that. That annoys the shit out of me. That doesn't annoy you? I mean, that doesn't bother you?
It does, but I'm not, I'm not ever probably going to display the level of emotion. Of
But he
irritation
is
that you do.
Smearing him
I feel you.
on purpose
I'm glad that
in order to make it look bad to his audience.
I'm glad that he brought his own notes because it just highlights the ludicrous nature of all these people that have been interviewing Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what he gets hit up against. He gets hit with constantly. I mean, it's one thing to say, yeah, you guys don't give me a fair shot. It's another thing to say, look, read this.
Yeah, here are the polls.
Right here while we are here. Not fact check me later, not try to get people to...
Well, the funny part is Sanders fact checked Axelrod on
right
air.
now. Because a lot of people don't go back and do their own research to take what is said in that moment. So if Axelrod says that he's polling in third or fourth and people are like, yeah, I don't think Bernie's doing all that well, they're not going to go and look for themselves.
Exactly.
So Bernie has to hit it right then and say, that's BS. That's crap.
You know, the funny part is Axelrod looks at it and is like,
I wrote the damn bill. That's right.
She's like, oh, you bought your own polls, huh?
Yep, biatch. That's what you should say.
And I mean, and again, I still point to this.
Sure did, bitches.
I mean, look at that.
That's CNN's
That's his own poll. That's CNN's own poll.
In the fucking number 2 spot.
Does Axelrod know that CNN actually took a poll and that poll found Bernie in number 2?
One. How long ago was that poll?
This was like a few days ago. This was 15th through 18th.
I mean, Axelrod didn't get all, he wasn't privy to that poll information.
Well, how about this? Was he privy to this one that also just came out? The YouGov poll. And the YouGov poll, Sanders didn't do all that well in the last YouGov poll. Was he privy to this one with Bernie Sanders at number 2 in the national poll? He wasn't privy to that one either.
He missed these.
How about this one? Was he privy to this one with Sanders in the number 1 spot?
No.
I could even go to New Hampshire. How is he not privy to all of these polls? Or is he just lying? A hat liar for the Democratic Party.
Poll somewhere out there that says he's in.
There was a Fox News poll that had Warren in number 2 spot. That was it. I mean, but it was an outlier. All of the other polls have him at number 2. Just saying.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Mic drop. He should have been like, take this. He should throw the papers at him and be like, man.
I wanted him to say how my ass tastes. Who said that? Where am I getting that from?